and welcome to our fourth session. This session is going to discuss some particular strategies that teachers and parents and others can use to promote a growth mindset for students. So I've shown you data already showing the impact of a growth mindset intervention for students. And one intervention is available at Mindset Works, another is my student online class. But the effect of those interventions won't last if students return to maths classrooms where they're bombarded with fixed mindset messages. The links to both of those interventions are in our References tab. I've been approached by school principals who tell me that their teachers have read Carol Dweck's books, they love the ideas, but they don't know what it means for their maths teaching. Well, it means a lot for maths teaching. And it's teachers and parents who can really make the difference and change students from a fixed to a growth mindset. Just to illustrate the power of parental messages, Carol Dweck told me the other day that she got a letter from the parent of a boy who'd been asked in class to write down what he was smart at. And instead of answering that question, he wrote that he really couldn't answer the question because everything he was good at, he'd worked really hard for. So that's the child of a parent who's given him growth mindset messages, despite the messages he may have got in school. Teachers are also extremely powerful in the mindset students develop as they communicate messages about mindset constantly. And those messages come from grouping structures, from the tasks students work on, from assessment and grading, from the way mistakes are managed and the norm set in classrooms. So this picture shows you the different areas that we're going to be working on today. And we've already talked in the last lesson about mistakes. They're a big part of a growth mindset culture. But here are some ideas for the rest of this session about the other aspects that we featured in that picture. So the first one I want to talk about is the norms that are set in the classrooms around homework and around homework at home, and the norms that teachers set up or that parents establish around what math is and how we work on math. Those are really important. And it's really important to set up norms that are all about a growth mindset. So instead of talking a lot about this, because we've already talked about a lot of the ideas in the last session, instead I want to show you a video of one amazing teacher. Kathy Humphries is the teacher, and she and I wrote a book together that includes lots of great examples of her teaching in middle school. And in the book, there are Kathy's actual lesson plans. She gives those, and she talks about how she was thinking about the lessons. Then you can watch the video that's provided, and then Kathy reflects on the lesson. And many teachers have found it very helpful to watch those teaching examples and read Kathy's thoughts, and I reflect on the lessons too. So Kathy has a really strong focus in her classroom on a particular norm that's about encouraging students to be sense makers. So she has a really strong norm that students have to make sense of everything. And Kathy encourages different ways to make sense. So she asks students to make and draw different representations. She encourages students to draw and visualize and to show things in different ways. She also develops a strong culture of collaboration and shared work. So students really make sense of mathematics when they talk about it and when they reason mathematically with each other. Something else she does is she gives public space to those sense-making norms. So she holds whole class discussions. Now, when teachers have these whole class discussions, it's really a chance for them to really instantiate norms of what they think is important with all the students. What math is and what's important in the class. Maggie Lampert wrote about that in her book, which is also in the reference section. So in Kathy's class, mistakes are really valued and shared for everyone to think about. And this is an extract from Kathy's writing in the book. So I'm going to ask you to watch the video now, and afterwards I'm going to ask you to write in the forum, what teacher moves did you find interesting that Kathy used to support the students' learning during the extract of the lesson you watched?